We had the shortbreads and they were incredible. So I knew I wanted to try and...
You said shortbreads.
Oh. Hey everyone, I'm Sav and this is Lagom Eats. Today I'm going to show you how to prepare and cook sweetbreads. Now sweetbreads aren't exactly what they sound like. They're actually the thymus gland or pancreas of an animal. It may sound a little bit gross to us Americans, but they are actually delicious and you can often find them served up at fancy restaurants. We're going to be doing a classic preparation of these today and serving them alongside a tangy Dijon sauce. Let's take a look at the ingredients. We're going to need 1 pound of sweetbreads, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of chopped shallot, 1 egg yolk, a squeeze of lemon, 1 tablespoon of capers, 1 tablespoon of chopped parsley, a 1/4 cup plus 1 tablespoon of oil, 1/3 cup of water, 1 teaspoon of white wine vinegar, salt, and pepper. Let's get cooking. All right, so we have our sweetbreads. This is what they look like. It looks like the pancreas for sure. So this is veal. You can get cow, pork, lamb, pretty much any kind of sweetbread, but veal is the most common. I got these off of D'Artagnan. There's a link in the description below if you want to get some sweetbreads. So the reason I wanted to do sweetbreads, I first had these at a restaurant called Animal in LA. Animal serves up a lot of like kind of exotic meats. We had pig ear, we had veal brains. What else did we have? We had chicken liver pate. What else did we have? Oh, foie gras, stuff like that. So not, you know, just some chicken and beef and that. It has exotic meats that you wouldn't get elsewhere. We had the sweetbreads and they were incredible. So I knew I wanted to try and cook them at home. And I feel like this is kind of the epitome of our channel. You know, I'm a self-taught home cook, but I don't just make, you know, some casseroles and roast chicken and all, you know, that nothing wrong with that. But I also want to branch out, try new things and cook some sweetbreads. I want to show you guys that get out of your comfort zone, you know, make these things. You don't have to just go to a fancy restaurant to have something like sweetbreads. You can do it at home. So this isn't necessarily a weeknight meal. It does take a little bit of preparation. So we're going to soak our sweetbreads in just some cold water. You can use milk as well, but cold water works. This is going to draw out all those impurities and some of the blood and just clean them up a bit. So we want to soak these for at least 3 hours, but I like to soak them overnight. All right, so I already soaked some sweetbreads. As you can see, the water is a little cloudy. It's a little pinkish. I like to change it out at least once or twice, just drain it, add some more cold water so it can continue to draw out those impurities. All right, so now we're going to blanch our sweetbreads. So we'll put them in a pot. We'll pour some cold water over them, just to cover. You can also use beef stock, chicken stock as well here. We're gonna squeeze some lemon in there and a pinch of salt. Now we're gonna turn on our stove to about medium and we're gonna bring this to a simmer and let it simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes. All right, so our sweetbreads have been simmering for about 7 minutes. We're not trying to cook them through here. We're just trying to firm them up a bit so we can clean them up a bit in a second. So now we need to shock them though. So we're gonna do an ice bath. We'll pour in some cold water and our ice. So now we're gonna let those sweetbreads cool down. All right, so now we're gonna clean up our sweetbreads. So these are actually, the ones from D'Artagnan are pretty clean. I'm gonna cut off this part though. But sometimes they have like some tubes coming off. You see this extra membrane. We can take all this off. It's actually pretty easy to peel off. Don't really need a knife for that. Don't take off too much of the membrane though, because that's what holds it together. Otherwise your sweetbreads are just gonna fall apart. Let's see, some of this stuff we'll take off. All right, so now we're going to press our sweetbreads. Now this is totally optional. This is classically how you prepare sweetbreads. It makes the sweetbreads a little bit more firm, have more of a bite. Without doing this, they can have a little bit more of a spongy texture, but it's all up to preference, whichever one you like best. This does take a little bit longer, so if you don't mind the more kind of spongy texture, then you can do that. But if you want a firmer bite, press it. So we'll put it on a plate. Just cover it with some cling wrap. We'll put another plate on top. And then you can take something heavy like a cast iron skillet or some soup cans and put it right on top. And this is going to squeeze out all that extra moisture. Now we're going to put this in the refrigerator for at least 3 hours, but again, I like to leave this overnight. So this is kind of like a 2-day prep. So if you're gonna make these sweetbreads on Friday, start making these on Wednesday. Start soaking them Wednesday. All right, so I already prepped some for you guys. So you can see they flattened out a lot. And there's a lot of extra moisture around the side of the plate. All right, so now you can cut these into whatever sizes, shapes that you want. I think I'm just gonna cut down the middle. So we have 2 kind of like appetizer size sweetbreads to cook up. All right, we're gonna season these liberally with some salt and pepper. Make sure you get both sides. All right, now we're gonna set these aside, let these sit, come up to room temperature while we make our sauce. All right, to make our Dijon sauce, we're going to add an egg yolk to a bowl. We'll add in a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, teaspoon of white wine vinegar. We're going to whisk that together. Now we need a 1/4 cup of oil. So I'm just using a canola oil here. You can use grapeseed oil, vegetable oil, any kind of neutral tasting oil. All right, and we're going to slowly whisk in our oil. Just want to emulsify this. All right, so now in a small pot, we're gonna pour 1/3 cup of water, our 1 tablespoon of chopped shallots. Get them minced pretty finely. 1 tablespoon of chopped parsley. And then 1 tablespoon of our capers. Now we'll turn on our stove to just medium. And we're gonna bring this up to a simmer. All right, now that it is simmering, we're going to take this off the heat. And we're going to slowly whisk in this egg yolk mixture. And we want this consistency to be like kind of like heavy cream. All right, so if it's a little bit thin and watery, you can reduce it on the stove just a little bit. Just be very careful because there's egg yolk in there. You don't want that to scramble. Let's go ahead and add a pinch of salt. And a little bit of pepper. We'll whisk that in. All right, let's go ahead and give it a taste. All right, that's perfect. So we're gonna set this aside and keep it warm while we fry up our sweetbreads. All right, so time to fry up our sweetbreads. Let's turn on our stove to medium high and let the pan heat up. All right, we're gonna add about a tablespoon of oil. All right, so now it's just about smoking. We're gonna add our sweetbreads. All right, so now we're gonna cook these for about 2 to 3 minutes per side until they're golden brown. The great thing about these sweetbreads though is it's virtually impossible to overcook them. They're always gonna be tender. They're not gonna like be chewy like chicken if you overcook it. So just cook it until it's a nice golden brown color. All right, we're gonna flip these. Beautiful golden brown color. All right, so we had to move behind me because it was getting a little too smoky in here. All right, we're going to baste these in some butter. Just throw in a tablespoon of butter. Get all that butter to one side and go ahead and baste them. All right, so our sweetbreads are done. If you want to check the internal temperature, They should be about 140, 145, and then they'll rise up to that 150 temperature. Let's go ahead and plate it up. Do this one, I like this shape. And then we're gonna drizzle some of our sauce over it. Let's do a little bit of parsley for just a little pop of green. All right, let's go ahead and take a bite. They're super tender, they cut through really nicely. They look really juicy. They're super tender, super juicy. We were trying to think like, what can you compare this to? Because it's got a very mild flavor and it's kind of like the texture is almost like a scallop. It's really buttery and soft, but it's kind of got that beefy flavor, not a scallop flavor, I guess. These are super rich though, and that tangy sauce really cuts through the richness really nicely. This would be a great appetizer. You could also serve this alongside some steamed vegetables or a nice crisp salad. This is a great way to introduce yourself or your guests to sweetbreads. I hope you guys enjoyed my sweetbreads recipe with the tangy Dijon sauce. If you are interested in some more sweetbread recipes, then make sure you subscribe below because I've got another one. It's kind of a more casual one. It's coming out in a few weeks. The full recipe can be found on my food blog at logomeats.com. I've got new delicious dishes coming out every week, so hit a like and subscribe below. I'll see you guys next time. Hey dough.